Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Jack back again to bring you a 7.2 first look at what we're going to be seeing with Holy Priest come the Tomb of Sargeras. Now, first things first is the artifact changes and everything like that. The 36 to 54 Paragon traits, the half percent each, are being removed and they're being rolled all into one host trait. You're still going to have the 35th trait here, Beacon of Light, just the 5%, the flat amount. And when you unlock this one, which you're probably going to be immediately, you will be able to add an extra trait into each of your 3 of 3s that is currently on your weapon. Now, I would not recommend you do this right away. At least in the current format, you don't want to do it right away. Of course, you want to go to Light of the Conclave, which is, the rest of your Paragon traits, which you should be able to buy just immediately because of how they're going to refund your artifact power. And it should be that when you're at 54 traits, you'll be able to be refunded a certain amount of your artifact power, so you'll be able to purchase a number of these traits just right away. So you will be getting Light of the Conclave first, and then you're going to want to go along this trait to start your Paragon, the new Paragon trait, and then we'll go from there. And then you can start looking at some of the 3 of 3s, the 4 of 4s. So the new 4 of 4 that we have is Caress of the Naru. Increase the healing bonus from Light of Ture by 20%. So it ups your healing increase from 25% to 45%. It's extremely powerful, and it really will be a very strong boost to your single target healing just in general. Now, depending on whether or not we are going to be focused on our single target healing or still be going more of an AoE style, kind of remains to be seen. But any kind of buff that we're getting to our single target healing is always a fantastic thing. I mean, our tank healing can get so much more powerful, and even if we're still prioritizing or utilizing a lot heavier in AoE healing, we'll still be able to pump out a very strong amount of tank healing just through Light of Ture's, Prayer of Mendings, and the like. All that kind of stuff. So, very strong. Times and Measures is the 1 of 1. Damage you take has a chance to reset the cooldown of Desperate Prayer, proportional to the magnitude of that damage. So, the bigger the hit, this chance has a chance to just reduce the cooldown by significant margins, and it'll probably average out to just being big cooldown reduction, Something like Desperate Prayer is just super, super powerful. It'll probably be crazy overpowered in PvP. I don't know how they're going to balance that, but in terms of dungeons and stuff like that, dungeons, raids, it's going to be very, very strong. It'll be a huge HPS increase just for us overall because we'll be able to have constant healing on ourselves, just a constant personal, constant health increase. All that kind of stuff will be really, really strong. And it's the first time we've gotten an artifact trait that actually gives us or even augments a personal cooldown. So, very nice. It only took us, talking about it since alpha or beta to actually get some kind of thing on our artifact to actually interact with a personal cooldown. So, thankfully, we have it. I'm really looking forward to this one. It's going to be very, very strong, incredibly powerful. Now, the gold trait that we have is called Cosmic Ripple, and of course, it's under construction. So it kind of leaves us to think about what this could be and how it could relate to the other existing artifact traits. So looking at like a precedent, we have Light of Ture, and then we have a 4 of 4 that augments Light of Ture, right? With Reverence, we have a 4 of 4 that increases Flash, Heal, and Heal. We have a gold trait that relates to Flash, Heal, and Heal. So many times you'll see this kind of relationship where there will be something that's just a 3 of 3 or 4 of 4, and then you'll see how it gets augmented by a gold trait in some way, shape, or form. You see with Light of Ture, like we talked about. Renew the Faith, it kind of has some interaction with Holy Hands, it kind of has some interaction with Say Your Prayers, stuff like that. So it has some kind of synergies around there. But now it kind of begs the question of, well, what really hasn't been touched and what really hasn't been changed around? And to me, it's kind of like most everything has some coverage to it or has some kind of relationship to each other. So the only thing that I really see is the Holy Words, which, you have, 4 Holy Word related artifact traits, but you don't have any kind of gold trait that's relating to Holy Words at all. And it makes you wonder, maybe it will not be some kind of flat increase to, the healing of it or anything else like that, but maybe it might look around for something where, you'll have a chance for a serendipity generating spell to proc twice and reduce the cooldown, 2 times the amount or something like that. I think, especially as we're looking at your set bonuses, there's going to have to be something that's related to serendipity in some way coming in this gold trait. That's my guess. It would have been nice to see something along the lines of like your serendipity spell has a chance to reduce the cooldown of both your Holy Words, but that kind of mixes in too much with Binding Heal. So if you took Binding Heal, it just wouldn't have any benefit out of it. So I don't think that we're going to see that. But it'd be pretty interesting to see what's going on. I do think it's going to be something related to serendipity in some way, shape, or form. Of course, your Paragon trait is Concordance of the Legion Fall. Your abilities have a chance to trigger Concordance of Legion Fall, increasing your primary stat by 2,000 for 10 seconds. Now, the first trait, which is the first one that unlocks it, is 2,000, and then every other trait after that is increasing it by 200. So every single other trait up to 50, because why not have 50 traits, is going to just make it even greater, just by 200 per tick. So it's very, very important to get the very first Paragon trait here, because it's just a big flat bonus. It's very similar to the 35th trait, which is a flat 5% increase. So it's very important to go for the Concordance to get the just immediate trait, and then you can start looking at if you want to add a trait or something like that into these windows and stuff, to the existing 3/3s and put them into 4/4s. What we've seen is many of our artifact traits and stuff like that haven't been mega polarizing. They've been very good, but we're not seeing something that's like, oh my gosh, you must have this before you get anything else. Say Your Prayers is currently our best trait, but in relation to like other classes, other classes have some traits that are just absolutely absurd and that you must get like immediately or something like that. So we aren't quite as polarizing, so you definitely want to go for your Paragon trait immediately, and then you can start looking at which of these you may want to add, and then we might hit a point, depending on what our playstyle is going to be looking like, where you'll skip some of the artifact traits. Like you'll definitely skip Trust in the Light. You're not going to add another artifact trait into that for a long, long time. Those are the kind of things to keep an eye out for. And this is looking like what the order will be, more or less, from the information that we have so far. So things can change. Things are always liable to change. It'll just kind of depend on how we're going from there. Now, going on to your set bonuses, our 2 set. Serendipity reduces the cooldown of your Holy Words by an additional 1.5 seconds. So this is just Light of Denaru built in to our 2 set, which is extremely, extremely strong. And it kind of reinforces my thought that Cosmic Ripple, the hidden artifact appearance or the unknown artifact appearance, is going to be something related to Serendipity. It's going to be some kind of relation to it, but we just don't quite know what it would be yet. So, very, very strong set bonus, and it'll just increase our cooldown reduction even further and be very, very powerful. Now, when you're looking at your 4 set, your Holy Words have a 40% chance to trigger a 50% reduced cooldown. So, every 4 out of 10 Holy Words that you cast are going to have 50% reduced cooldowns following up. It'll be very, very strong. It'll be very, very nice to have. And in many ways, both the 2 set and the 4 set, they're the best we've been. They're the best they've been in a very long time. But it also makes you wonder if we are going to be actually looking at taking Symbol of Hope at some point. Because if the cooldown reduction is so great, and historically, as you go further and further into expansions, as you go further and further into raid tiers, the damage gets a lot burstier. And you might see something along the lines of, instead of taking Light of the Naru, it might be a little bit of overkill, and it might be the damage is focused in these small windows of time, these burst windows of time. You must top people off or they're dead, and it's not going to matter how much faster you get the Holy Words off by that extra 2 seconds. So you might as well go for, a Symbol of Hope, and you might as well go for more mana and stuff like that in the process. So it's a possibility. We'll see. But I generally think that the set bonuses are the best they've been in a very, very long time. And the new artifact traits that we're getting are extremely, extremely strong, the ones we know so far, so Crest of the Naru and Times and Measures, so I'm really looking forward to that. Can't wait to see what Cosmic Ripple is going to be. Let me know what you guys think Cosmic Ripple is going to be in the comments, any ideas you guys might have, because if it's under construction, it looks like there's still open suggestions. So if you guys like the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and share, all that jazz. Hope you all enjoy this, and I'll see you all next time.